Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. You often hear people say the news is full of lies, but most of the time that's not exactly right. Much of what you see on television or read the New York Times is in fact true in the literal sense. It could pass one of the media's own fact checks. Lawyers would be willing to sign off on it. In fact, they may have. But that doesn't make it true.
Hey, everybody. Breaking news. I did a story on this a few days ago about Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson having a meeting. Well, something's come of that meeting, and it's amazing for free speech and anti-censorship. Tucker just made a second video since being fired and posted on Twitter where he announces he's going to start his own show on Twitter. So the partnership between Elon Musk and Carlson Tucker is becoming official. And it's really exciting to see what will happen. He's going to he talks about taking his old platform on Fox, like his normal show that he produced from his Florida residence, and now moving it straight up to Twitter. And the video was released 1 hour ago, and it's got 5.6 million views in 1 hour. And if you looked at his original video from last week, the last time I saw it was at 90 million.
It's not true. At the most basic level, the news you consume is a lie of the stealthiest and most insidious kind. Facts have been withheld on purpose, along with proportion and perspective. You are being manipulated. How does that work? Let's see. If I tell you that a man has been unjustly arrested for armed robbery, that is not, strictly speaking, a lie. He may have been framed. At this point, there's been no trial, so no one can really say. But if I don't mention the fact that the same man has been arrested for the same crime 6 times before, am I really informing you?
So you got to realize Tucker Carlson's show, what did it average? It averaged around 2 million people during his time slot a day, up to 3.9 million a day. So the people are really interested in what he has to say after being fired. After the fact, he's become more popular, you could say, with the mainstream medias. And hopefully he'll be able to just wipe the floor with all the mainstream media censorship and misinformation. The term misinformation from the Soviet Union created misinformation, disinformation, or the lack of telling the full story. How many times have you or somebody you known been interviewed by Global News or Castanet, and then they clip one little thing you say and don't show anything or explain? You're like, I didn't even get to say what I said. They clipped me. Or this guy was arrested. This was Tucker mentions. It's like, how many times have you seen a story about a person who was arrested? But they didn't mention that this person has been arrested 10 times previously for this. So it's just an example of telling the story without telling the story.
No, I'm not. I'm misleading you. And that's what the news media are doing in every story that matters, every day of the week, every week of the year. What's it like to work in a system like that? After more than 30 years in the middle of it, we could tell you stories. The best you can hope for in the news business at this point is the freedom to tell the fullest truth that you can. But there are always limits. And you know that if you bump up against those limits often enough, you will be fired for it.
Anyways, I'll throw up the clip right now, or part of the clip. YouTube has a whole thing where they take down your videos if you do reused content. So you have to kind of clip videos, very short 15-minute segments. Otherwise, go to Twitter and watch the whole video yourself. Cheers, guys. Irnieracing News. I'm just getting ready to go dirt biking, right? I got the helmet, I got the gear out, and I was just getting ready to go for a dirt bike ride, and then I came across the news. Cheers.
That's not a guess. It's guaranteed. Every person who works in English language media understands that. The rule of what you can't say defines everything. It's filthy, really, and it's utterly corrupting. You can't have a free society if people aren't allowed to say what they think is true. Speech is the fundamental prerequisite for democracy. That's why it's enshrined in the first of our constitutional amendments. Amazingly, as of tonight, there aren't many platforms left that allow free speech. The last big one remaining in the world, the only one, is Twitter.
Bam! Twitter.
Where we are now. Twitter has long served as the place where our national conversation incubates and develops. Twitter is not a partisan site. Everybody's allowed here, and we think that's a good thing. And yet, for the most part, the news that you see analyzed on Twitter comes from media organizations that are themselves thinly disguised propaganda outlets. You see it on cable news, you talk about it on Twitter. The result may feel like a debate, but actually the gatekeepers are still in charge. We think that's a bad system. We know exactly how it works, and we're sick of it.
Absolutely. We're super sick of it. And in another story to add to this one, if you go on the Liberals' website about their recent convention, they list that they want to bring the vaccine mandates back. It's part of their new running there for 2024, whenever the next election is. Their next election promises is we're going to make vaccine mandates for anybody who wants to travel by plane or train or whatever bus in and out of the country, and they want to max vaccine mandate everybody in the federal workers again. The Liberals are not stopping, guys. We need to be rising up again for a whole new trucker, airplane, tornado, freaking freedom convoy. Back to Tucker.
Starting soon, we'll be bringing a new version of the show we've been doing for the last 6.5 years to Twitter. We'll be bringing some other things too, which we'll tell you about. But for now, we're just grateful to be here. Free speech is the main right that you have. Without it, you have no others. See you soon.
And there you have it. Tucker Carlson, Twitter TV show, or Twitter online show, Tucker Carlson show on Twitter. Very exciting, Irnieracing.